Next, I'll talk about kinds of virtual reality. There are 5 different kinds that you need to be aware of for simulations. Non-immersive, semi-immersive, fully immersive, augmented reality, and collaborative. And I'll go over each. Non-immersive virtual reality, also called screen-based learning, such as virtual patient, vSim, and ATI. Non-immersive virtual experiences are often overlooked as virtual reality category because it's already so commonly used. I'm sure there are a lot of you who have simulation centers who use virtual sim or vSim. This is a very common mistake that it may be a 3D environment on a 2D screen, but it's really non-immersive. So they came up with a thing that's non-immersive virtual reality. This technology provides a computer-generated environment, but allows the user to stay aware of and keep control of their physical environment. Non-immersive virtual reality systems rely on a computer or a video game console, a display, input devices like keyboard, mouse, controller, and it's a video game or using like a PlayStation or like an old Nintendo. That's a perfect experience or a perfect example of an immersive VR experience. Semi-immersive virtual reality experiences provide users with a partially virtual environment. A semi-immersive virtual reality is a mixture of non-immersive and fully immersive virtual reality. This can be a form of a 3D space or a virtual environment, but you have no physical movements and you can't teleport necessarily through it. Such examples are 360 video and photo tours used in real estate and tours of hospitals or campuses. Most semi-virtual environments support gyroscope, which means the virtual space will be fixed on your phone based on vertical axis. And you'll have you'll have to move your phone in different directions in order to see a different part of the space. So I'm going to show you here if I can get it to open here. So what we use when I worked for University of Nebraska Medical Center College of Nursing, we did a 360 video tour of our simulation room so that students could have that awareness to the room before they were actually in there, so that the faculty didn't have to go over what the headboard was, what they use the trash can for, what to use the phone for. And so we actually had one of the faculty members, Jamie, record kind of intro to sim room. And then we set it up so that and this is computer-based, it's phone-based, it's we could have it on our multi-action walls or any kind of interactive digital computer. And anyone could use it, and it was open source and free. And so if you clicked on it, then you got a video of what the simulation control room was. And so this is a perfect example of semi-immersive virtual reality. You could also have it in a VR headset, but it wasn't something that you could teleport in or you can move freely, use like by walking around. So that's why it's semi-immersive. And just as a plug, Round Me is a free application, and it's super easy to use, kind of drag and drop kind of thing. So if you have a computer or if you have a 360 camera, which are pretty cheap nowadays, you can actually do this as well. And you can do videos or photos. We just chose to do photos for this one. Fully immersive virtual reality. Fully immersive simulations give users the most realistic simulation experience, complete with sight and sound. To experience and interact with fully immersive virtual reality, the user needs proper VR glasses or head-mounted display. So HMD, that was on that original list of different terminologies. HMD is just a headset, but not just any headset for fully immersive. There are some headsets like Google Cardboard, Emerge Cube VR glasses that are not fully immersive. They're more of that semi-immersive. These VR headsets provide high resolution content with a wide field of view, or 6 DOF. They typically display the display typically splits between the user's eyes, creating a stereoscopic 3D effect, and combines with input tracking to establish an immersive, believable experience. This type of VR has been commonly adapted for gaming and other entertainment purposes, but a lot of other sectors such as healthcare and education are starting to use this as well.
Tess, can I ask a question? Are you going to have these definitions on your website? I think some of these are in the have been added to the Simulation Healthcare Dictionary, but from the Society for Simulation in Healthcare, which is free. But I'd like to know if yours are on your website, then people can refer to that, as they move forward. I think Farouz had a great point before we got on the call to start. Farouz, you want to unmute and tell everybody your story about 3D cameras and how you utilized that when it first came out?
Yeah, thank you. Well, earlier we were chatting, I said some of these technologies are great, and if they're not properly utilized, it's going to remind me of like when the 3D TVs were very popular at the time. Everyone got one, including me, paid extra amounts of money for that. And however, the contents were not ready for that time. And there was not a lot of developers, and the content was not relevant to some of the consumers. And as a result, 3D start moving any further. And so the cross walk for VR and AR is also if the contents are not relevant to institutions and students and learners, it may be great for us short term, but it long term may not be successful. I think that's very important to.
Thank you so much, Farouz. And I think that's part of the reason we're doing this now, is we want you guys to make sure that you're making the best decisions for your students, and you're not just paying money on things that are going to ultimately end up like the simulators in the closet and paperweights on desks, because these are smaller. So let's not, have the fear of missing out. Make sure that you make a good decision. So thank you very much. Go ahead, Tess, resume. And if you guys have questions, please type them in the chat box.